Peggy 18.
I have seen a vision of our Führer's future. The death of the old world and the birth of the new. Can you hear it? Drums. The drums of war. The march of progress. I have built more than just a new kind of soldier. I have created the devil himself.
Pre-order now and get access to the private beta.
What's up, San Diego Comic-Con? How are you this morning? Welcome to the Call of Duty World War II Nazi Zombies panel. Who hates Nazi zombies? Real quick, my name's Greg Miller. I'm from a website called Kinda Funny. How are you? You're having a good day? Everybody's excited? We're ready? Thank you, thank you. Who's been to a Comic-Con panel before? Great. You, sir, in the white shirt. You raised your hand. That means you've been to bad Comic-Con panels, ladies and gentlemen. For the rest of this panel, I need all of your energy. Do you understand? When I say good things, like everyone here gets an exclusive poster, you go. When I say bad things, like Call of Duty, World War II has been delayed till 2019, you go. I don't know why you're so excited. It was a joke. It's not really delayed. It's still this year. Everybody calm down. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the folks from Sledgehammer Games who are making this game. Welcome to the stage, Michael Condrey, one of the co-leads of the studio. Please welcome Cameron Dayton to the stage, please. One of the people making this story, please. Keep it going. Keep it going. Stand up. Get excited. Next person up, John Horsley. John, where are you at? There we go. Yeah, here we go. Thank you for coming. Thank you. John, they're trying to tether me, but I won't let them. Thank you for coming. Thank you all for coming. Who liked the trailer? Trailer's really dark, guys. Zombies in Call of Duty have been around for a while. That seems super, super dark, Michael. What are you doing? What is happening?
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I mean, look, thanks for waiting for the actual reveal trailer here. That's always nice. And we are taking this back to the place where it all began, a dark, gritty, horrific, and hopefully terrifying experience. That's where it started. That's kind of our DNA as developers, so hopefully you saw that in the trailer.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up the DNA. So I'm going to say a game name really quick, and then we're going to refer to it the rest of the time, right, as Michael Condrey's horror game. Everybody understand? Michael Condrey made but we're all on the same page that it's now Michael Condrey's horror game. So, Michael Condrey, when you made Michael Condrey's horror game, what drove you to survival horror? What makes you want to get into horror games like this?
Well, let me step back just 1 second there if I can, Greg. So, look, we're just a few of many hundreds of talented developers. Just like on Michael Condrey's horror game, I was just lucky to be a part of a really talented team. So I just want to make that clear. It was,
so you're saying Michael Condrey's horror game wasn't made just by Michael Condrey?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, okay. Fact, but when you made Michael Condrey's horror game, Michael Condrey, why did you feel the need to go so cerebral, so awesome, so amazing, and make a survival horror game like that? And then what did you learn that you're now applying to this one?
Yeah, I mean, that was a great experience for us. You know, Glenn and I started that team a decade ago, really. It was Action Game of the Year, and I think for us, we saw an opportunity to do what we're doing here, which is come back to a place where we can really terrify fans in a way that great films have done over time, but in an interactive way. So, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Michael Condrey's horror game
Yes!
was, you know, a chance to sort of immerse you in a place that you believed in, and then really terrify you in a way that harkens back to the films that we've come to know and love in the past, in our childhood.
Sure. So then, Cameron, where do you enter in with that? Like, what are you another horror buff? Is everyone at Sledgehammer a horror buff?
Oh, big time, big time. And having been a fan of the...
Cameron, don't be afraid of the microphones. Come on,
right.
they're not going to hurt you.
Here we go.
Scooch in.
Check one. Sibilance, you here? Oh, wow, hi.
A lot of scooching. All right, I'm a full service moderator.
And all that entails, right?
Can I change seats?
No, you're in the perfect seat. Don't worry about it. I have a new idea for a Michael Condrey horror game. Do you want to hear it?
I think I'm living it right now.
So it's horror in everyone's blood?
Yeah, it's something that we've all been living, breathing, talking about. I mean, getting into, because we are geeks, we've dissected horror. We're talking about all the different ways that you can feel fear, and you know, you've got the easy jump scare, but you've got the simmering, boiling, you've got the environmental, and there's so much there in Nazi Zombies. Again, you guys saw the trailer. We tried to share a little bit of that across the board.
Well, that was the thing. I mean, watching the trailer for me and even seeing what they're putting up now, like, there's such a visceral, scary, like, actual horror movie vibe to it. Like, is that the idea, Michael, pulling from what you loved as a child?
It really is. I mean, look, I think this week and this celebration here at Comic-Con reminds us of incredible points in, you know, our youth growing up and being consumers of entertainment. You know, on that note, I think maybe we should give a round of applause for the passing of George Romero. He was a big influence on us.
100%. Everybody, please, George Romero.
These were experiences you had where you were placed in a believable setting, and the suspension of disbelief of the horror was about shock and surprise. In previous horror games we've made, it's about the tension. And I like the word visceral. We use that as well, right? There's graphic violence that can be scary, but for us it was the tension, the build-up, the pacing that was more powerful than...
I think sometimes there's the sense of what's happening in your imagination. You know, everything that we design, these horrifying creatures, which, by the way, you've only seen a tiny fraction of in the trailer. What's happening in here is 10 times more terrifying, and we try to lean in on that.
Yeah, and it was interesting for us. Some of the lessons we'd learned in the past was really about that. It was, you know, I remember on previous games that may have been called...
Michael Condrey's previous games.
Thank you. There were moments where we thought going to 11 scared people, right?
Yeah.
Louder, more violent, more enemies. But in fact, we found just the opposite, right? It's sometimes when you take it down to 2, and to Cameron's point, you let your head fill in the anticipation of something coming, that impending dread, that fear of the unknown. That's really where you can get people, and I think we've captured that, and I think you see that in the trailer.
Yeah.
So, John, was that something you were excited to take on? Like, this is all cool and this all sounds great, but to go in a different direction than what the zombie modes before have been, it's a little bit of pressure for a little bit of a game that might sell a few copies.
Yeah, there's some pressure, but the studio has a really good pedigree in horror. We certainly have good pedigree in Call of Duty first-person shooters, so putting those together was really exciting for us, really good opportunity to showcase the talents within the studio. We have a really talented studio, so I'm really proud of what they've done. And it was, you know, all the lessons learned in previous games helps us build tension, helps us build a whole variety of things that come together, from character design, story, setting, theme. Even the voiceovers that we have serve as kind of an emotional punctuation to the moment when it varies up and down according to the pace of the game.
Well, the narration in the trailer is creepy.
Yeah, that's super creepy.
Super creepy. So, Cameron, what is the story here? What is happening in Call of Duty World War II Nazi Zombies?
So, I mean, the core thing is we wanted to build off of something that felt tangible, that felt real, that you know, we actually had this discussion last night. Being chased by zombies in you know, cartoon ice cream land is a lot less scary than being chased by zombies in your backyard, right? There's something about the realistic about this happening. And so we very much dug into a lot of the foundations of what the single-player game and the multiplayer game had been building off of, and said, okay, how do we twist that just a little bit? And so, how many of you have been following some of the web stuff that's been going on, the YouTube reports, the letters from Marie? We're building this story that's based on characters. We've got Marie Fisher. We've got the story of her brother. We've got this incredibly realistically based cast that is about to come across something that is unexpected and completely twisted.
So, where does this come from? Where do you start finding all this? How do you make a story about Nazi zombies believable and grounded?
The secret is to be a big enough geek that you start to tell the story to yourself. You're like, well, I've got to come up with some sketches. I've got to come up with some stories. I've got to come up with some side things and eventually get this mountain of stuff that it's entirely possible you won't use any of it in the creation of the game. But it turns out it was really useful in kind of setting the stage for what's happening.
So what are you pulling from? Are you pulling from like German myths or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, World War II as a canvas in many ways, reality was more strange than fiction, right? And there was a lot going on during the war, at the end of the war. We've all, I think, been exposed to the MFAA group that went out to retrieve stolen art. And so as we started to piece together what really happened with some of the more creative liberties that we were going to do with Nazi zombies, those wove together in a tapestry that really was very much believable and grounded in what was going on in 1944 and the later stages of the war.
So John, outside of trying to ground this, what is the narrative pitch to everybody? What are players doing in this game?
Well, like was mentioned, the Monuments and Fine Arts and Archives team, they deployed small units looking for stolen art, and those are our heroes. They're a part of a group looking for stolen Nazi art. And so they're deployed into a village, and they find much more than that, however, and that sets the stage for the confrontation with the villains and ultimately the zombies. Yeah.
We're going to get the cast out here eventually. Not yet, don't worry. But Cameron, before I do that, what I like about it is the fact of, you guys let me play it, it's a lot of fun, but the fact that the 4 players in there are so diverse, right? It's not just it's infantry, it's not just here they are, the military, here, who are the people? Like why did you want to get in there and make a cast that wasn't just, hey, here are the Americans, here are the British?
There are so many stories of heroic people in World War II. One of the things that drew us to the MFAA is it was a mixture not just of soldiers, but you had professors, you had academics, you had people who believed in the beauty of the art that mankind has created, and they wanted to make sure it wasn't destroyed, that it was saved. And so there's and it made for a very interesting mix of people all across the Allied forces, and you had men and women who were devoted to risking their lives to save these incredible works of art. And so we said that is a great starting point.
Yeah, and I'd add to that, if I may. I mean, I think
you may.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oftentimes when you think about some of the versions of entertainment that captures the war, it feels maybe like an American hero intervention in Europe, but that wasn't the case, right? This was an allied force of, frankly, common men and women coming together to push back the German war machine. It was a global conflict, right? Nearly every nation was touched, and that set the stage for this idea of vulnerability in a common person. Not a super soldier, not somebody going in that has every piece of technology and armor and information they needed. And I think that itself led to a sense of terror and dread, right?
Yeah.
Personal vulnerability that actually is reflected in all modes of the game and is reflected what really happened in the most costly war in human history.
So, Cameron, when I talk to you about this game, I love it because you are, first off, a huge nerd and dork on your own.
Entirely.
But then you love your story so much and you're so involved with it. It's so interesting. The one thing about the viral stuff you put out has been stressing that it's Marie and Klaus. And I feel like we haven't touched on that, and that's really paramount to introducing these people. Who are Marie and Klaus? How does that frame a story?
Well, I think first and foremost, I mean, to discuss the massiveness that World War II was, it's almost hard for our brains to grasp really what was going on. It's the personal stories that you get into that really make it something that you can understand. And so we know this happened throughout Europe. You had a political divide in a family. And it was a family where you had two siblings who had different beliefs about the future of the country and where it needed to go. And it ended up with a division where Marie ended up taking off and joining the other side. And what does that mean? And are those bonds, those political and philosophical bonds, are those stronger than the bonds of blood and family? It's interesting to try and tell this story in Nazi zombies, but you can. Why not, right? So.
Well, John, was there ever a moment when you're like, maybe we shouldn't? Like, maybe we should make the goofy Nazi zombies, not this crazy thing where we're doing letters and we're actually bringing in like real family divides?
Well, we like to, keep it grounded emotionally as well as, in a period piece, historically accurate as far as we can go. It's zombies, so it's a made-up world. But within that kind of one conceit, what would the Germans do if they had the ability to make an undead army, right? How would they do it, and how would they construct their enemies? And if you go down that road, it gets pretty horrifying. I sometimes wonder if we've gone too far, but that's the price you pay.
We would debate sometimes. John and I would play like the two different sides of the coin and be like, is that pushing too much? Is that a little too weird? And he'd say, Cameron, it's Nazi zombies. We're making Nazi zombies. There's some flexibility there,
And there's some terrifying designs that we saw a little bit in the trailer, but there's other more terrifying creatures out there.
Oh yeah.
So, and it's really odd to have the game scare you. I played the game a lot. I still get jumped, right? It's like, oh. So I'm hoping everybody's going to enjoy it. So.
Obviously, this panel's about the story of the characters, all these different things, but is there anything, before I bring everybody out here and we get into talking to them about their characters, gameplay-wise you want to stress to people? Like what is it, the zombie mode they know and love, or is it, have you made changes? How are you doing it?
Yeah, I think there is both what they know and love about what's made zombies great for Call of Duty, and it's our stamp, right?
Yeah.
And to your question about, the theme that we chose, man, there's some great examples of zombies in film. Fast-moving, slow-moving, terrifying, group, solo, right? So ours is really rooted in that experience that is what we describe as the Sledgehammer stamp, right? Dark, twisted, horrific. And so the gameplay, that coming together as a squad of 4 in a cooperative experience, that construct will be familiar, but the setting, the amount of horror and tension, the number of times we think you're going to maybe pee a little, I think it's going to be a little higher than,
or a lot,
or a lot is going to be higher than you've experienced before.
Okay.
And there's things we've done for second-to-second gameplay that we think makes it easier to be cooperative as players. We've done things that make it a little more accessible as well for new players, and we've also, of course, paid attention to the hardcore Easter eggs and difficulty. That's been maintained. There's a hidden world, and for those who can see it, there's secrets to find. So that has definitely been preserved, and it's
That's an interesting. Sorry to cut you off, John. I was just going to say this is a group of passionate zombies fans. Obviously, it's hard.
Is that correct?
Is that right? There's two things we hope you'll take away, and we actually think that you will. One, it'll be the most terrifying Call of Duty zombies you've experienced.
That's right.
And two, for the hardcore, it's going to be the hardest Easter egg hunt you've ever been on. So, mark our words. There's a lot more under the surface, and when and if you find it, we'll be very proud of you.
We've got our own testers who are hardcore. These are the people we pay to do this. They have not uncovered some of the secrets we've hidden away. So it's going to be a good challenge. Yeah.
Is that a hard balance for you guys to walk? Of, hey, we want to make a zombie mode people can jump into, blast, have fun, not have to think, but then also we want to tell a really engaging story and we want to have this lore. How do you walk that line?
It's a layered thing. It's really a layered thing. There's the core story beats that you've got. You've got Marie and her brother and what's going on. But then as you dig deeper, you found out Marie and Klaus, their father was a toy maker. And as Klaus has been trapped in this village under the Nazis who've taken control, he's had all the time in the world to devise tricks and traps and hidden elements, and they all have a little bit of his stamp on them. I'm not giving away too many clues, I promise you, but this village is riddled with layers of those sort of hidden elements in them, and there's really as much story as you want or as little as you want. If you just want to go in and shoot rotten things, you'll have a fun. There's 5-minute enjoyment through there. There's also all sorts of depth and engagement there as well.
And we try to make it a very rewarding experience as well. There's rewards for those who can find the secrets, and there's rewards for unlocking parts of the map. Really try to amplify that as well.
All right, who wants to meet the cast? I said, who wants to meet the cast? Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the cast of Call of Duty World War II Nazi Zombies. He's got the right idea. Everybody get on your feet. First up, the one and only David Tennant. Elodie Young. Keep it going. There we go. Catherine Winnick. And Udo Kerr. Udo! Ladies and gentlemen, your cast. So how's everybody doing? Thanks for coming out. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. Let's go down the line and introduce your characters. David, who are you playing in this one?
I play Drosten Hind.
What do we need to know about him?
He's an antique. Look at that. It looks like me. It's amazing. He's even got a tartan cap. That's because I'm Scottish. Yeah, he's an antiquities expert.
Okay.
He was in prison, and he's been allowed out on the understanding that he'll work for the good guys.
Okay. I also was told by Cameron he curses like a sailor.
He swears a lot. An awful lot, yes. It's full of bad language, this game. I'm terribly shocked. Yeah.
Cameron, how much of the bad language did you guys have to write or did David bring to the table? Cameron, get on that microphone. Okay, don't make me come over there and push you back in.
So originally, he actually wasn't going to swear that much, but we got into the session with David, and it just came so naturally. It felt like the right thing to do. So,
this is terrible scandal. No, I mean, well, you did indicate to me that you wanted it to have an authentically Scottish feel.
Yes.
And that perhaps being written in California, it didn't necessarily. So I was invited to bring some of my experience of growing up in Paisley. And thank you. Thanks for the
one
Paisley.
shout out.
One shout for Paisley. Usually they don't let you out. That's. So yes, we did a little bit of improvisational cursing.
Okay.
I believe they used the term "channel your drunk uncle" if you could, and it opened up the floodgates.
I have no drunk uncle, I would like to point out, but I got the understanding of what you meant. Yes.
Elodie, who are you playing?
I'm playing Mademoiselle Durand. She was in the French Resistance. She's an art historian. She worked at Le Louvre, au Musée du Louvre. And yeah, she was very keen on joining the team because her dad got captured by the Nazis. And she's very passionate about art. And so, yeah, so she's kind of, I think, of the guide of the team, I think. Yeah. So this is who I play.
You seem like your method act. You can stop doing the accent anytime. We're not recording the game.
All right, thank you.
What was that like for you to get in and play a character that hits close to home, I guess? Like, was it a cool character for you to jump into?
Yeah, well, the funny story about it's not funny, but when they approached me for the part, I was really keen on doing it because my granddad and his dad, they were in the resistance.
Oh, that's awesome.
In the French resistance. My great granddad died in camps. My granddad escaped, you know, he got liberated by the Canadian at the time. So I think, you know, it was really, it was interesting and important for me in a way to accept a part like this. It's a video game, so it's very new to me. But the fact that, you know, they did some research about the history and all that, I was drawn to that for that specific reason.
That's awesome. Now, Catherine, hi.
Hi, guys. I am so excited to be here. First of all, you guys rock, and I can't even see the back. You guys are amazing, so hello.
Tell me about your character. You're like the main character of the game.
Sure. I play Marie Fisher, and she is born in Germany, and she decided to leave the family business. I guess her father was a weapons maker, and she decided to study in Cambridge, and then she went to the States, and she was recruited with the OSS, which was like the early CIA. and she became a spy. So it's a very fun character for me to play. I get a chance to, well, I can't give away too many spoilers, but for her, her main goal is actually her brother, Klaus. And reconnecting with him, she was obviously had a strong history with him, and that she ends up getting other people's help to try to get to her personal goal, which is to find her brother again.
You started that by shouting out how awesome everybody is.
Oh my God, I love this room. I'm so excited.
You, of course, are real active on social media. Have you seen a lot of them tweeting at you and talking to you and being excited for you to be in the game?
I have to say, the Call of Duty fans are amazing and totally insane. I'm new in the gaming world in terms of first video game I'm doing, but yeah, I'm just super excited to be here.
Did you expect any reaction? Like when you're like, oh, it's my first video game, this will be cool. Did you expect people like there to be that kind of fan base behind it?
I had no idea you guys are, I know that, I didn't realize the amount of hype and the amount of dedication that you guys have, and I am blown away, so thank you.
And then we come to Udo. Udo, they told me I couldn't curse on this panel, but there's no other way to say it. You're a scary motherfucker.
Thank you very much.
He does!
I like that.
Udo, who are you playing in this game?
I play Dr. Straub, a Nazi doctor, and I have built a new kind of soldier. A soldier who never sleeps, a soldier who does not eat, and a soldier who does not die. But actually, I have done much more. I created the devil himself.
I'm scared of you.
And I have a good time, a very good director. And it was for me also new. I had never done something like that. And this is amazing when you stand there, you have cameras, you go into a big egg with 365 lights, and then somebody says, smile, and then boom, all the cameras take the picture. No, it was a great experience, and it's the first time ever I went anywhere in the world to Comic-Con.
This is your first Comic-Con?
Yes. And
ladies and gentlemen.
And I enjoy it because when you go in the evening to the streets, you don't know there's so many monsters and so many big rabbits and so many people that you say, where am I? Where's my hotel? But no, it's wonderful, and I will, after the panel, I will go and see all the T-shirts and everything.
How can you make the word T-shirt sound scary? Doesn't make any sense.
It depends what's on it.
Udo, you have a long lineage with horror movies, right? You've been in a ton.
I mean, what?
In horror movies. You've been in a lot of horror movies.
I started, actually. No, let's not talk too much about me, but it's a good story. I was discovered in an airplane. A man was sitting next to me. I was a young actor. I say it quick so it doesn't take so long. And the man next to me said, like all Americans, what do you do? And by the way, I was just an actor, so I took a headshot out of my bag and said, I'm an actor. And he said, wow, and give me your number. So he wrote my number in his passport at the last page. And I said, who are you? He said, I'm Paul Morrissey. I make movies for Andy Warhol. 3 weeks later, I got a call. Paul, from New York, I'm making a film, Frankenstein, in 3D, and I have a little role for you. And I said, wow, what do I play? And he said, Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah.
So I started, and then I did right away afterwards, I wasn't planned, I did Dracula. And that was the beginning of this horror movies, when you're a young actor and you start, you can never see yourself as a vampire. Because you want to be a jeune premier, you want to be the man. And so I did a lot of films then afterwards, like horror movies, and I like it because, you know, it's wonderful to be in horror movies.
Good.
You know what? It's amazing. I'm looking around this room and I'm seeing so many girls and gamers. That is amazing. I love that. So, especially because my character plays a very strong character who's not only a very brilliant engineer, but she's also someone who kicks some ass. So.
Cameron, how's that work on your side? When you're getting ready to sit down and design the cast and put together this story, are you sitting there thinking like, we should have more girls in this? Or is it like, no, we need to get the right characters, the right things, how does it work as a plot? No, and I swear to God, move on that microphone or I'm going to come over there and push you in so hard.
So we kind of let the story tell itself. You set the problem, obviously, we know we got to have zombies in there. We wanted to make sure it was grounded. We wanted to make sure there was a lot of history that was right. And then the story just started telling itself. And as we dug into the MFAA and the heroes, the people that were a part of it, it just had to be told with a broader cast and a woman who had been from Bavaria, who'd crossed, the ocean and had been working in espionage, opened up so many story possibilities, so many different experiences that we hadn't heard before.
Mm-hmm.
What, you got something to add?
May I?
Yeah, go. It's your panel. Again.
Cameron's right about zombies, and I don't want to get on a soapbox about a broader game statement, but Catherine brought it up, but I think it's really important to acknowledge in this room we see a very diverse group of gamers and zombie fans. And we know that half of all gamers are women. We know half of graduates in technology are women. And so as a studio, we wanted to showcase a broad and diverse set of heroes, people that you could look up to. So I think you'll see that across the whole game. It's important to our industry. It's important to all of us on the panel and everybody back home to say, look, we're going to leave this industry in a better place than we entered it. And that's one where we have great and diverse heroes across all nationalities and all genders.
Well, and you're able to tell a better story.
One fan of diversity, right? Thank you.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, you tell a better story that way too, when you can share more diverse thoughts and opinions and perspectives on things, and working with each of these incredibly talented actors here has opened up each character into something much broader and more interesting than if we just created it alone. Yeah.
Now there's one, oh sorry, go ahead.
I just got to give Cameron props and this team right here that's here. This is a team that's very communicative in terms of your storyline and making the character you, and helping, as artists, we can bring a lot of ourselves into our character, which eventually you guys will be playing and seeing. And that is something that is really refreshing in the entertainment world, is to have such a collaborative, open process that you can change words, you can change dialogue, you can change your certain parts of the story, of course, within the broad stroke. So I just want to say thank you guys. You guys are awesome by including us.
Now, guys, there was one person included in the game, the fourth playable character, who couldn't be here today, correct? Michael Condrey, who's that man?
Well, he is here in spirit, isn't he?
I like to think that Ving Rhames is with us at all times. Ving Rhames is with us at all times.
I think we have a message from
He did send a message just for you, Comic-Con. Do you want to see it?
Hey, what's up, San Diego Comic-Con? This is Ving Rhames working on Call of Duty, coming to you in November. So what I do is I play this badass dude, okay? He's a marksman, right? And he's leading a group of men in a Bavarian village killing zombies. Now, I wish I could be there in person today, so I want to give a shout out to all the fans who are out there today supporting the reveal. It's an amazing game to work on. It's going to be an amazing game to play. Now, this is some scary stuff. As a matter of fact, shh. You hear that? They're coming. They're here. The zombies are coming! They're coming!
Yeah, that's special for us. It's great to have this cast here, including Vin, and just harkening back to an incredible set of talent. That's a lot of fun for us.
Well, I feel like for you at Sledgehammer, you're like, all right, we're gonna make this cool horror game. We're gonna do this cool thing. We're gonna cast all these characters. Was it just like, okay, let's go down the line and find all of our favorite actors so we have an excuse to work with them and design these characters?
I mean, on some level,
own up to
probably.
it.
On some level, probably. I'll
What an
admit,
answer.
right? I mean, this is the coming together of Hollywood and Silicon Valley in a way that allows us to interact with people that we've seen in film and idolized throughout our lives. And so, yeah, I think there's part of that. And of course, then, you know, looking for the very best delivery of the actors and marrying that to the talent. And I think this cast represents that. So that's pretty special for us.
And then I think, Elodie, you were saying this is your first game too, right?
Yes.
How does that work? Did you set out, I want to be in a video game, or are the walls falling down where there is no more like, well, this is Hollywood, this is movies and TVs, and voice acting's over there? Is it?
Oh, no, I think, you know, as long as the project is creative, then I'm in. And, you know, as Catherine said, we've been very much involved in how to portray our own characters. So, like David, I did a lot of swearing, a lot of French swearing, and I had a lot of fun doing this. Or, you know, so.
Give me some of the French curse words.
Oh,
They'll only have to bleep those out internationally. That's fine.
Putain, merde, no, yeah, something like that in my character.
Tabernacle.
No, that's dated. No, I don't.
Well, my wife is from Montreal, so I only know
course,
that kind of
sorry, I
French. I'm sorry.
apologize. It's not really French.
All right. Well, been a great panel.
I apologize. I want to create a war here. So, but yeah. So my character's got like some really fun moments and cool French dialogues.
David, for you, what's the biggest difference acting in a video game?
I think what's different about this is I've done quite a lot of audio work in cartoons and animated movies, and then you're following a script which has a sort of linear progression. But when you come to something like this, you can't always follow what you're doing. You have to really be sort of led through it because it's sort of chunks of lines. It sort of reads like a kind of Dadaist poem. You know, it doesn't always follow on. So you're kind of in the booth going, what is this? And not only do you say it once, you then have to say it
3 times.
3 times.
Three times.
3 times.
Hours.
In different stages of intensity, obviously, you guys know.
So it's like as if you're just in a room chatting, and then as if you're in a room but you're a little bit worried because something's outside the room, and then as if you're in the room full of zombies that are tearing your skin off. So you have to do everything.
That's my favorite.
And it's a new experience trying to sort of navigate your way through that and kind of nuance it as you go. And you're very much in the hands of your creative directors to keep you on the right track there. But every session does seem to end with a lot of screaming your lungs out.
Sure.
Starts very calmly and ends with your throat bleeding. That's my experience.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun for all the aspiring voice actors out there. Cameron and John, do you find that it takes a special type of actor to be able to go in and do that? Like, can not everybody hang in that way?
Yeah, I mean.
Come on.
John, get on that microphone, John. Don't make me come.
Scooch. Yeah, we were really fortunate. I'm really grateful that the cast. Oh, no. Terrified now. Yeah.
Full service moderator.
Yeah, they're all special. We were very lucky and very fortunate to have a great cast, a great performance. All of you did a tremendous job. It's really a testimony to professionalism and talent. Because you're right, David's right. We are trying to guide them through a player experience, which varies from session to session under difficult circumstances sometimes, which is reflected in the performance. And you got to carry that in your head and in your heart and be able to evoke those feelings within yourself and the player. So it takes quite a bit of focus and guidance, really, from Cameron and the team about how to get this to mesh together to get a really seamless performance. So it's when it works, it's really amazing. Like I said, I was scaring myself the other day in the game, and part hearing Mr. Tennant here lose his mind. So when it works, it's great. Yeah.
And the graphics are incredible. And what I loved about this project, what attracted me to this, is the amount of research that goes into World War II, about the guns that they used, about the actual history components, the politics behind it. So in terms of all the history buffs out there, you guys are going to be blown away. Definitely. If I would say one word in terms of describing this game compared to the other games, if I had to decide, someone asked me, what's one word you would use? Epic. Epic. It is insane.
Speaking of epic things at Comic-Con,
yes,
you guys have a whole bunch of stuff for the crowd, right? There's a whole bunch of announcements and things like that.
Yeah, we brought some gifts, if you will.
Yeah, what are they? Tell me about them.
Well, it depends on if you want the poster. Do you want the poster?
I do want the poster.
Do you
there
want
it is.
the poster signed? Because we're also doing a poster signing.
So the poster, when you came in, you should have got a ticket, or when you leave, you get a ticket, or at some point you'll find a ticket. If somebody next to you has a ticket, steal it and run right now. The ticket you can then redeem for the poster.
That should be fun.
All right, good. Michael Condrey, what are your wrapping up words of wisdom here?
Well, look, again, where this all started was, the cast. Thank you so much to, wonderful cast, wonderful game coming in November, wonderful fans, and most importantly, we have just an incredibly passionate, dedicated studio back home at Sledgehammer Games and across the Activision organization that are tuning in. So thank you to everybody who's supported us along the way, and thanks to all the developers who brought this to life. It certainly is going to be something we're very proud of and special to share in November.
Good job.
Ladies and gentlemen, get your posters. And remember, Call of Duty World War II comes out when, Michael?
Comes out November 3rd.
There you go. Thank you all for coming.
I have seen a vision of our Führer's future. The death of the old world and the birth of the new. Can you hear it? Drums. The drums of war. The march of progress. I have built more than just a new kind of soldier. I have created the devil himself.
Pre-order now and get access to the private beta.